Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Cradle News Roundup, your one stop shop for all news West Asia, coming to you live. My name is Esteban Carrillo. I'm the news editor for the Cradle, and as usual, I'm joined by my friends and colleagues, content creator and writer for the Cradle, Karim Shami, and columnist and editor for the Cradle, Sharmin Narwani. Before we start, as usual, just please make sure to hit that like button as soon as you arrive. If you've been waiting already here for us to start the show, just make sure you've already hit that like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't, make sure to turn on the notifications so you know of any new episodes coming out of our content. Make sure to also go check out some of the recent interviews that Sharmin has conducted, as well as we had a couple of episodes of the news roundup this weekend. So if you haven't, please go check them out. Go show some love. Also, as usual, please, in the description below, you can find a link to our Patreon page where for as little as $5 a month, you can become a direct supporter of the Cradle. We need your support to stay afloat. We need your support to remain independent as we like to be. And well, thank you to everyone who's already become a patron as well. Many things as usual. This is today, I want to say day 10 of the war, although it feels like day 30. I mean, honestly, every day feels like an eternity. Many new developments, but I'd like us to start discussing the most recent developments inside Lebanon, because today a couple of major things happened. First, the Lebanese presidency essentially declared war on Hezbollah, as the title of this stream says, and expressed eagerness, readiness to restart, I guess, conversations with Israel. I think they were having some conversations up until a few weeks ago, but now they're more openly saying we want to have direct talks with Israel. And at the same time, the Lebanese resistance Hezbollah launched a missile attack that reached deep into Israeli territory, taking out at least one satellite. Hold on, let me see. I want to use the right name. A satellite station near Beit Shemesh. At the same time, we keep hearing new numbers of the displaced inside Lebanon. At this point, we're talking about 700,000 people displaced, nearly 1 million in a country that is the size. It's a very small country, and also, well, the rest of the situation. But let's begin with with what Joseph Aoun said today, and as well as what Hezbollah did. And before I let you guys go on, thank you so much to 7Z Ness. He says everyone always asks where is Sima, where is Sharmin. No one ever asks how is Karim. Yes, actually, how are you, Karim? Please tell us about everything today too.
Today I'm very good.
Today Karim's happy.
Specifically today, I am very good, despite what our president said. Sorry, despite the president of a land called Lebanon said.
You're echoing slightly, Karim.
So Karim, let us know what happened to him. You either tell us either about Aoun or tell us about what Hezbollah did. Maybe
of course. First, I will
one.
start with Aoun. Am I still echoing?
A bit, but I think it's the reverb of the room, because I know what room you're in, and it's kind of
let me see. Give me 15 seconds.
I said some people are saying sounds quiet.
It's not an echo. It sounds like your mic's not on.
Yeah, because people are saying you are quiet in the. I also hear you lower than I. Oh,
now,
much better.
Now I am not quiet. Okay, it was a technical issue. So first, let's start with the president of a land called Lebanon, what he said. He said that we call on the entire world to assist us in supporting and implementing the following. Number A, establish a complete truce with a halt to all Israeli land, air, and naval attacks on Lebanon. Okay. Number two, providing urgently the necessary logistic support to the Lebanese armed forces. That's B. And now he explains B. The Lebanese forces will immediately after the word supports Lebanon, because everybody cares about Lebanon, these forces will immediately take control of the recent areas of tensions, meaning Bekaa, South Lebanon, and confiscate all weapons from them, meaning from Hezbollah. And he adds, and our goal is to disarm Hezbollah and to take over the warehouses and depot of Hezbollah according to the information and data available. Number D, which is the final one, Simultaneously, whatever the word is, Lebanon and Israel will begin direct negotiations under international community to implement the detail of all the above. So currently Lebanon is under attack. Currently Hezbollah is being attacked and attacking Hezbollah, the Israelis, and we are in a state of war, and there's a regional war. And the only thing that is preventing Israel from invading Lebanon is Hezbollah, because it was very clear. I said at the beginning that I was against Hezbollah to start the war, but apparently after 24 hours, the head of the Israeli army said if Hezbollah didn't attack us, we were preparing for an attack. So this cancels what we said at the beginning. So you are at the inside a war, and the Israelis, they called upon 40,000 of the reserves, and they said they want the number to reach 100,000, and they are putting them on the Lebanese border. And what's the best way to do? I want to ask every single person who is listening to us, if you are from a small or big country, if you are from a powerful or weak country, what's the main thing that your country or people will take? Is to resist, is to take precautions, is to protect your people, not to call on the people that are fighting and preventing the Israelis from occupying your land to hand over their weapons. And not only hand over their weapons, this is the old narrative. Now the narrative is that we, the country, the army, the government will come and take the weapons from Hezbollah, which is insane. And the funny part, people who don't live in Lebanon will not understand what I am saying, but the people that are safe in Lebanon are the people calling for the government to take the weapons. Of course, not all of the people, but part of the people, or the people that are powerful in Lebanon. Lebanon is a mini United States. The media is controlled from few people that are aligned with the Israelis, unfortunately. And also most of the judges and the decision makers also, in coincidence, they always prosecute people that Israel don't want. So I will not say more, because it's dangerous now in Lebanon to talk against Israel. If you talk against Israel, you might go to jail. So that's what I will say only. So that's what's happening in Lebanon. And to finish my point, the people that are safe and they have the money and everything are calling for Hezbollah to hand over their weapons, and now they are working to disarm Hezbollah on behalf of Israel. And the people that are displaced want Hezbollah to have their weapons. So you do the math.
And they have been, there's many reports now in Israeli media saying, in particular, and I saw one from Haaretz this morning, in which they were quoting Israeli army officials as saying things are not going well in the north. Our air defenses are not reacting in the way that we would expect them to. There's still no plans to evacuate the communities which haven't actually been fully repopulated after the war that ended in November of 2024 under this, completely a ceasefire that was violated daily by the Israelis. So they're saying we cannot keep up the pace of fighting a war against Iran and also fighting a war against Hezbollah, which has, the way the Israelis are saying, is almost like Hezbollah has been rejuvenated. Like they are fighting with a ferocity that we have not really experienced in a while, but they are at the same time degraded in some of their capabilities, quote unquote. Although, as I said, Karim, and please walk us through this as well, the attacks that they conducted today, which hit very deep inside Israeli territory.
Yeah, 100%. So I always say usually that unfortunately Iran or Hezbollah didn't shock the Israelis. I'm talking about following October 7. I think this is the second time that the Hezbollah shocks the Israelis. First is when they started the bombing, and when it was clear that Hezbollah is still able to inflict damages in Israel, and they are still present in the areas that many countries, including the Lebanese government and the Lebanese army and the UNIFIL, which is the UN forces in Lebanon, that their sole job was to see where Hezbollah operates and where are the weapons, in addition to the Israeli drones and surveillance for over than 2 years. And also for the past 15 months, Hezbollah didn't retaliate or fire a single shot in south of Lebanon into Israel. And the surveillance was everywhere, and even 5 points in South Lebanon were invaded and occupied by Israelis, and suddenly people are saying Hezbollah as if nothing happened. That's the first one. And the second one is what happened a few hours ago. So if we look at the video, we can clearly see that Hezbollah was able to strike a base, a radar station inside a base in Tel Aviv. And this is the footage of course, Israeli soldiers running under fire. And this is the point that was struck by Hezbollah. It's clear, we can see the radars. The radar system completely damaged. Yeah, and the target, according to Hezbollah, according to their recent statement, was 135 kilometers away from the border of Lebanon. And of course, I think they even fired it further than the border. So these are the damages, and it's clear that Iran and Hezbollah, they have a clear plan for the first time, at least according to me. What they are doing, they are damaging the ears and vision of the Israeli and Americans in our region, meaning they are targeting radar systems. These radar systems are very important for Israel, and I always used to argue with Sharmeen that it's very difficult to assassinate, or it's very difficult to inflict real damages in Israel, because the Israelis knows when the missiles are fired, at least from Iran at least 10 to 11 minutes before, and from Lebanon 4 to 5 minutes before. But now, if this persists and Hezbollah and the Iranians manage to destroy the radar systems that are in the Gulf countries, which are there to protect Israel, of course, it's obvious they are not protecting anybody except Israel. And now the Hezbollah is doing this. Afterwards, if this continues, I think after a few days or even 1 week, Israel will be very vulnerable, and they will ask for a ceasefire. So I think the only difficulty now for Iran or Hezbollah, I think I didn't read it anywhere, but I have previous information I've read previously about this. We have the Angelique base in Turkey that has a very wide range. And of course, maybe it's used by the Israelis, I'm not sure, but at least they are used by the Americans. It's a NATO base there. And today, just today, we saw that the Turkish Ministry of Defense, they released 2 statements saying that they downed a ballistic missile that was heading to Turkey. So, militarily, I'm no one to object or confirm anything, but for me, I think it's better to keep Turkey away for now. But this also doesn't rule out that Iraqis or the Iranians will try to blind the Americans from southern Turkey, because the base there is very important. And for them, as we can see, the main objective now is to blind the Americans and the Israelis. And as we are seeing, hopefully, or in the future, they will fully implement this if the war continues.
Yeah, as far as the help that Joseph Aoun has asked, I'm seeing that he's already got a taker. Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara, who has said,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
His position remains firm in condemning all forms of aggression against Arab sovereignty.
And
The
that's for all
head
our
chopper
viewers that previously said, oh, wait, and give him time. You don't know what you're talking about. No. Shara is silent.
Viewers? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had these commands everywhere.
I never
Everybody, man. You have the Al Jazeera, man. Al Jazeera portray him as if he's the savior of the Arabs, not only Palestine. So, Syria is silent. The only thing that came out of Syria in the past 10 days is that they are happy of the decision of the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah, while Israel is targeting and trying to occupy Lebanon.
What do you make of all of this, Sharmeen? We missed you over the weekend, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, I understand why Karim is so amped up and excited and upbeat. It's because he finally saw a video.
Of course. You can't
that's
hide
all
a
I'm saying.
video. You can't hide a video.
For those viewers
No way.
who are new here, if Karim doesn't see a video of something, it didn't happen. It doesn't matter who claims it happened. It didn't happen.
Unless it's in the desert. If it's a city, 100% there's videos. We are in 2026.
No, by the way, Karim, it's not the case. It is really not the case. We are hearing ourselves about the extreme censorship in Israel right now. Okay, we're hearing about the extreme censorship in Bahrain, in the UAE. It's
Wild,
extreme. Okay, so no, if you didn't see, I mean, do you think the Haifa refinery wasn't hit like solidly? I don't know.
There's no video, and there's a video. I will.
Okay, so the rest of us
yes.
also go by some confirmed statements. Now, just regarding the missile that was intercepted by Turkey, the Iranians, for the second time, said it wasn't them. So, you know, as we know, and we've been observing over the last week, many players, not just here at the Cradle, but actually people who are helming states, are talking about false flag attempts to drag one or another party into a war unnecessarily, right? So, like Karim said, you know, this is probably not a good time to draw in Turkey. That may come later if, in fact, the West is using Turkish airspace to launch attacks on Iran, for instance. But it's not a good time to involve Turkey. That would be as obvious to the Iranians. And so it's seriously doubtful that Iranians fired a missile towards Turkey. In terms of what Joseph Aoun has said, you know, he refused in October 2019 when then President Michel Aoun, different Aoun presidents, okay? Michel Aoun asked the army commander, who was Joseph Aoun at the time, to stop the protests and whatnot, and he refused. He refused on the basis of, you know, I'm not going to sort of go up against the Lebanese people, right? And yet here, he's outside the army command now. He's sitting in the president's palace in Baghdad, and he is ordering Rudolf Hakel, the new Lebanese armed force commander, to take on Hezbollah, also the Lebanese people. The irony is great, okay? And
Yeah.
I tell you, there's one thing I am getting quite sick of: the nastiness of people since Hassan Nasrallah was killed. The way they wouldn't dare open their mouths. They wouldn't dare open their mouths, okay? And it wasn't even like someone was going to do something to them. They wouldn't dare open their mouths when he was alive. And the nastiness after he was killed, the nastiness towards Shia Lebanese, you know, who they associated with Hezbollah or they considered uneducated farmers, the racism, it's so vile.
It is
And
racism, yeah.
honestly, what I hope the dial turns, the pendulum swings once again, and some of these people go back into the holes they crawled out of, because it's vile. These are all Lebanese people, and what some of these people, including the people who are running the government, are taking the side of foreign powers, including the declared enemy of the state of Lebanon, the state of Israel, while it's bombing the Lebanese, and the Lebanese government isn't helping these people at all. It wouldn't help in rebuilding their homes in the last year, right? Maybe because they were planning for them to be demolished. You know, these are traitors. This is absolute treachery. So I don't know that I can say more than that, because, are they not watching the Iranian missiles flowing? Are they not watching the fact that the global energy taps have been turned off by one country, the country that they have now insisting get visas to come here? It was visa free just a few months ago, you know, when they were quiet in their little holes, and now they're out thumping their chests. These people who, like the Israelis, are nothing without an American standing behind them, you know. And these people are, you know, are they not watching what Iran's doing? That entire Gulf countries are going, hang on, we miscalculated this. They're getting mad at the Americans, the Gulf countries. All American allies are getting mad. the Japanese, the South Koreans, the Taiwanese, they're all getting mad at the Americans. They realize what it's about. It's just America, right?
I was
There's
just
no
reading.
real alliance.
I was just reading a tweet by Lindsey Graham in which he, chastises Saudi Arabia for not joining the war, for not launching attacks, saying, in particular, well, I'm not going to read his message because it's just like a bunch of rambling against the Saudis. But it ends with, hopefully this changes soon. If not, consequences will follow. That's a good move there, Lindsay.
Please, I mean, I just have to say, like, these people need to be shut up for eternity. Really,
Yeah.
they're opportunistic. They line their pockets. They have no principles. They have no values. They have no vision for their countries. When they have been in power, they have not built anything. Do you know what I mean? So I just, I'm feeling a bit quiet today because, see, Karim, I didn't have to see a video. I knew all the stuff was happening. Sorry, it's a personal dig. But I have to say I feel quiet because it's kind of stunning how ridiculous these people are, the people who've been running things. And yeah, hopefully things will change. Well, the news on, I don't know if you mind me segueing off because big change in Iran, new supreme leader.
Yes, of course. They have a new supreme leader, yes.
New supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, who not many people know much about.
Not Trump's choice. We know that much.
Not Trump's choice. And nobody would be his choice unless Trump had to do with the selection of this person, which is the opposite of sovereignty, right? So he's in, and his father never wanted him to be supreme leader. Let's say that at the outset. His father thought it would look too much like succession, which would look too much like a monarchy, right? And he was very much opposed to it. And according to one member of the Assembly of Experts, you couldn't even bring up the subject while his father was alive. That's how much he opposed it. But Mujtaba Khamenei has been voted in by the Assembly of Experts. There's some views that the IRGC would have weighed in on this. I'm sure people get to lobby the Assembly of Experts in their own way because obviously Iran is mid-war. And by the way, Mujtaba Khamenei fought in the Iran-Iraq war. He has had military experience, and he fought in the final battle of the Iran-Iraq war, the one that ended it all.
The son of a war leader fighting in a war. This gains relevance now that there's people wanting Baron Trump to join the war.
Khamenei also had military service. This is, they may be religious figures who studied at the religious seminaries, but these are also men of a nation, right? And they fought in the wars. So I think that's important. I think probably the IRGC had some opinions on this. And I think what's important, and sorry, I just finished another podcast, so I might be repeating myself here. What's important is that Mujtaba Khamenei comes into his position with pretty much the entirety of the Rolodex his father had. For those who are under 30, a Rolodex is the old system of how you kept people's contact information. And so he comes in with his father's entire contact base. That kind of thing takes like a generation to build, and many people are saying he was a gatekeeper for his father. I mean, he worked with him in his office, and so he knows these people personally. He knows his father's thinking, not just in political and strategic affairs, but also on religious, because both of them are men who've been through the religious seminary, right? And people are calling him a hardliner, but why would be a hardliner? I mean, Khamenei was hardly a hardliner. I don't even understand that word anymore, because the people who are called these things are actually kind of just people. So
it's the way that the Westerners, need to understand.
It's a Western moniker. It is a Western adjective. We don't know a single thing about him. The man has never made a speech, a political speech. He's never run for political office. He has stayed in the background and worked with his father after having fought in the Iran-Iraq war. So I think it's very interesting, and he fits right in with our favorite way to describe the Iranians, strategically ambiguous. Okay, they like that. The less you know, the better.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so I want to stay a little bit with Lebanon before moving
Sure.
to Iran. First, I want to put some videos. These are from today's Dahi bombings from the Israelis. They bombed left and right, and also now the Israelis they are having a meeting, the Netanyahu war cabinet, to see what they can do following the Hezbollah rockets that fell in in Tel Aviv. So these are scenes from today's attacks on Lebanon and on Dahieh. They targeted many places in Dahieh. They bombed each building around 3-4 times. Yeah,
They've been bombing financial institutions too.
yeah, and financial institutions. And imagine there's for instance a building that has a small shop at the bottom, and they say this shop is for Hezbollah, for instance. What they are doing is they are destroying the whole building. They are leveling it to the ground. Fortunately enough, that according to the latest news that I saw, only people were injured because already Dahi is empty currently from the people. And also, I want also to say that the Lebanese president, he didn't only do that. Yeah, the government doesn't do that. I want to draw the whole picture of the situation. So what happened is also, if you are an Iranian, you can't come back to Lebanon now. You can't go to Lebanon. You have to have a visa, and they have to look into you. Yani meaning, they said it indirectly that Iranians are not acceptable to come anymore to Lebanon. Usually were no visas between the two countries. And also they said that they will follow and interrogate Iranians that are in Lebanon. And also in his today semi-speech, the president said that he feels with other countries, although Lebanon, according to our power and to our size, nobody claimed that they will help us or felt solidarity with Lebanon. But in his speech, he said that he feels what's happening to other countries, of course, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and he even named Azerbaijan, which we don't care about Azerbaijan. To be honest, sorry for our Azari, but it's very weird. For a Lebanese president to condemn what's happening in Azerbaijan, and your half of country is on the streets.
You have
This is insane.
700,000 displays. 700,000.
Yeah, 700,000, and he ends by as if he's acknowledging the damages that the war did to Cyprus, which only 2-3 military bases were hit, and he called upon Cyprus as if he's asking he's apologized to Cyprus, and he's saying they are our friends, our family. Come on, man, that's too much.
Lebanon giving full solidarity and unwavering support for all those who have been targeted treacherously and condemned by the Iranian regime. Where did this guy's balls dropped? All I have to say is because you know how he's been so careful before. Really, I have to say, in the midst of all that's happening in the region, I'm wondering, I mean, there are people who are just reading this in a whole different way, which, by the way, interests me. You know, when somebody comes out of completely left field, you have to say, oh, maybe they're seeing something I'm not.
No.
Reassess. But this guy, I can't imagine what he's seeing. I know he can't be seeing anything. He's not important enough to be at the sort of the secret table where things are being discussed in this region at all. For him to talk like this, there's some serious delusion going on there, because anyone who's worked in politics in Lebanon knows that the pendulum swings one way, then a few years later another way, and back again. I mean,
especially now, Sharmin, I was talking at the office before this call. I told them, do they think that after the war, the Saudis and the Kuwaitis and the Emiratis and the Qataris will still pay money to influence politicians in Lebanon? They are so stupid. Who will do that? They can't maintain now what's happening on social media. Okay, also there's like rules in our region. You can't see a Gulf academic or a businessman going and ranting on Twitter without asking his boss or how do you say it, Mustasharin, Sharmin, consult somebody from the royal family before doing it. And we are seeing it. They are saying the United States wants us part of the war. We will not send our people to the war, although they might pressure him. But I'm telling you now, if you're a politician and you want to take a decision, and all what you have for is some money being sent from the Gulf to Lebanon, you have to know the mentality of the Lebanese government since 1990. After the war, the mentality of Lebanon was established, and Rafiq al-Hariri also embedded this, and it was working. It was working. Rafiq al-Hariri is the father, not the son. The point
Former
is
Prime
that
Minister. Prime Minister.
yeah, 100%. The idea of Lebanon to maintain something called Lebanon, the land now that's called Lebanon, is they made a deal in 1990, a deal security from Syria, money from the Gulf. Now there is no Syria, and now there is no Gulf. What is the policy that you are seeking? We don't have allies. We don't have anything. So the only power that the government has is the educated people abroad and the military power of Hezbollah. Any other thing is out of question.
It's frightening. Lebanon is making itself completely irrelevant in the way Jordan has been since King Hussein died. You know, in the past, Lebanon was able to mediate things. Do you remember the former General Security Chief Abbas Ibrahim? Like in the midst of, I can't remember what it was, he was shuttling off to the Gulf countries. They were like communicating. Lebanon had some communication with Iran, with Syria, whatever. They could be a broker. I mean, that's the role King Hussein and Jordan played for many decades in this region. And now what happens is when you're a small little country with no resources and you swing too far to one side, you lose your relevance.
Exactly.
So that's where Joseph Owen is taking Lebanon.
I want to mention to another, just like
Hezbollah. I think they released a statement. It's a vague statement, but of course, it's in response to the president of Lebanon. The Israelis summoned 100,000 soldiers to the Lebanese border in early March in preparation for attacks inside Lebanon. We warned that our patience has its limits, but no one took any action. They saw our alliance as an opportunity. They saw our silence as an opportunity to attack the resistance, and they did. So this is the statement. And also regarding what Sharmin was saying, and I want to mention this because it's very important, which is what's happening in Iran regarding following the voting for the new supreme leader. So this is Iran after the supreme leader, despite the difficulties and the bombings from
this is today, right?
Yes, this is today.
And this is across several provinces that
100%.
The image. I think this is Tehran.
So the Americans, for our fellow Americans, send this to your people. They think that some bombings will stop the IRGC from attacking or from like launching attacks. That's the people.
That's insane. These images are, you need to consider what happened on the weekend. The attack on the fuel depots that caused like these apocalyptic images, and then essentially acid rain, oil started raining down.
Yeah, 100%. Before you continue, I just want to put another video. This is also today, and the video will speak for itself.
This is in Isfahan, right?
I think I don't know the exact location.
I think this is where people were out there celebrating the new supreme leader, and the U.S. or the Israelis actually bombed the crowd.
Because that's what they do. That's what they do. I want to mention just very briefly that in Lebanon they also killed a Catholic priest in the town of Kulaya, Father Pierre Al-Rahi. which I imagine, Joseph Aoun doesn't have much to say about that either.
But they did. Can I please say, because I really
Go
want
ahead.
reviewers to
We
understand
have
my
a
country.
super chat. Maybe you can put it on screen.
Yeah, of
while you
course,
say
of
it.
course.
Yeah.
So what happened today is that one of the leading parties in Lebanon, Kataeb Party, which the leader of the party now is the son of the guy who entered Beirut with the Israelis, and they occupied half of Lebanon. And afterwards, of course, Hezbollah was created because of of his father and the Israelis. So what he did, he put an official statement under his name and claiming that Hezbollah ran into a house where the priest is, and that's why
God.
the Israelis did that, knowing that LBC and the official statement from Lebanese government and the
LBC is
official
a TV
statement.
station.
Yeah, it's
It's a
a
TV
TV.
station.
It's a very
yeah.
important TV station in Lebanon. And the mayor of the town said there was no Hezbollah in the building and there's no Hezbollah in the town that was bombed. That's what are the Lebanese doing. 2 days ago, I showed Charmin something which mind-boggling, as she say. A very important person in Lebanon, and he's an influencer, and he has the most viewed TV station in Lebanon and radio station in Lebanon, and the biggest video production in Lebanon. He went to the TV and said that in Bint Jbel, which is a very big village in Lebanon, it's not a village, it's a town, there's a hospital called Bint Jbel. He went to the TV only to say two sentences, that Hezbollah is using this hospital as a base. Yeah, and if the Israelis bombed it, they can bomb it. That's it. Nobody asked him for anything. Okay, you're against you're against us, you're against whatever. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And of course, the Lebanese judiciary system did nothing, and you can't go file a complaint against them. Nothing will happen. And now we have this guy who is, because he's a Christian and he wants to make peace because he loves Lebanon, he blamed Hezbollah. It's insane. They are preparing for civil war, and I think I will not continue. Yalla, we'll see tomorrow in 2 days if it will calm down, because still we need to see what Nabi Hiberri will say. Nabi
The
Hiberri is.
the Israelis want civil war here. It's super clear. There are elements in Lebanon that would welcome a civil war, and then of course the Syrian troops amassed on Lebanon's border, eastern border would like that. It's existential for the Israelis. There are many countries in this region who, despite it not being in their interests, would rather have an Iranian defeat, because if Iran stays strong, every single country in this region will have been schooled on what sovereignty really means. Okay? And really, they don't understand the concept. They really don't. They don't understand the concept of development. They don't understand the concept of, it's crazy how late some of these countries started their own defense programs, right? They literally would subcontract their national defense. They would subcontract their water. They would subcontract their food. There's no concept of sovereignty here. It's so hard to say. Every single day we realize, I think it hits us because of some new piece of information, how much the world is going to turn depending on the outcome of this conflict. And Lebanon, completely different if there's an Iranian victory in this region, completely.
Yeah, and thank you also for Komhargo. Why your name is so difficult? Komhargoven 780. Thank you very much, and also thank you, Albert.
Horgoven.
Komhargoven.
A Turkish name, no? Jum Horgoven.
Maybe.
Esteban, your microphone's off.
I just realized that. I just thought you guys kept talking over me.
No.
Hey, a couple of things. Sorry, I had turned down.
How
the
would we
microphone, my
know,
bad.
right?
A couple of things. First of all, we have over 1,100 people watching, but not even half as many likes. That is very sad, especially considering that our very brave Karim Shami is coming to you from a war
I
zone.
would
So
have
please
laughed, but I am happy today.
drop that like, please, if you haven't yet. Guys, before we move on to the oil, that's what I was saying. I want us to move on to the situation with the oil, the Strait of Hormuz, etc. But there's one last thing that I think we need to mention about the situation inside Israel. And I think, Karim, you have that video because I'm sure it's on our social media. It's the one of Israeli soldiers taking down CCTV cameras, left and right, because they don't want documentation of the damage that both Iran and Hezbollah are causing inside. Because, the official story is it's all fine and dandy. Nothing's happening here where everyone's in shelters, nobody needs to evacuate, etc. The reality is, of course, very different. I mean, Tel Aviv in particular, still, I would say protected for the most part, but you are seeing more and more of these attacks land, in particular because of what Karim, talked about at the start of the show, which was they're being blinded, right? Like the radars are being taken down, etc. The response time, the air raid sirens are taking longer and longer to detect the missiles, and also Iran has been using cluster warheads more liberally, right? In response to the many crimes that the U.S.-Israeli alliance has committed already inside of their territory. So I don't know if you have the video, Karim, of the soldiers taking down the CCTV cameras, but this is, on top of the military censorship. Sharmeen, you were talking earlier, how in Bahrain, in UAE, in Kuwait, they are very heavily censoring and even threatening those who are even posting images of the damage. You can kind of see the same strategy being applied. While on the other hand, in Iran, we are getting, there's really not censorship. There's actually, there's a CNN reporter just like walking around, meeting with officials, getting statements. And it's night and day, essentially, in what the one side is willing to do, and the other one, as you can see here, they are taking down the CCTV cameras and among other things to make sure that there's as little documentation as possible of what is actually happening inside.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, I was searching for the video, Esteban. I caught the last.
Can you put on this video that I just sent you in the group? It's an American guy who moves to Dubai a month ago. Okay, then 2 drones explode next to his building. He filmed it and tweeted it, and he's become number 3 on the UAE public prosecutors list for publishing illegal content. He's had to flood the country after hiding out from bombings, and just made his way over the border into Oman. But like, he shows the bombing picture he took of, which was right outside his apartment, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're trying to hunt him down. He's had to flee the UAE. So yeah, it's quite. Oh, what are we showing us?
Well, Karim, I think this is it. Yeah. So this is one of the images he reportedly posted online, and the UAE not very happy about any of
not
this
only
getting out.
none are. We were talking on the group before we started. The point is that in Bahrain you will be jailed, prosecuted. Also, they will let you leave the country if you're an expat. The same applies.
Let me read this, Karim.
Yes.
Bahrain prosecutors now seeking death penalty for citizens accused of photographing damage from Iranian attacks. The Bahrain,
death
of course, where the Fifth Fleet is based out of.
But Iranians, who have killed security forces and burned buildings and ambulances, shouldn't even get prison.
Yeah, and I want to mention something is that the videos that documents what happened inside the buildings of the U.S. installations and bases, such in what we published here and this podcast a few days ago from Kuwait, from Qatar, and from the base in Saudi Arabia. The videos that we published here were taken by U.S. soldiers. So imagine how slaves are they. Imagine you are in Bahrain. If you are in Bahrain or Kuwait, if you take a photo for an occupation base inside your country that was used to launch an attack against Iran and was and subjected your country to bombings and to be like go back tons of years back, decades back, and also your country was not even informed of this operation, and you took a photo, you will be jailed or you will
killed.
vanish. And the soldier inside, when he publishes a video full HD, nothing will happen to him. Imagine, just imagine the mentality of these countries.
The slavish is the word. They act like slaves, and we see it. I mean, we see it left and right across the world. The Strait of Hormuz closure, I think we can get into this. This is kind of like the meaty subject of the past couple of days. Oil prices, I want to say earlier today, they rose as much as 120 per barrel. I think Brent crude reached that point. And then they went back down because the G7 announced that they would start pumping some of the reserves, right, that they have into the market. At the same time, well, that brought down prices, right? But there's like this is just hanging in the air, the inevitability that we are going to surpass. Karim, in our chat, I sent an image, man. I'm sorry I keep sending you back to the chat, but I sent an image that says historical oil prices, and it just kind of shows over the past, since 1950, essentially, how much and when have oil prices spiked. And right now, we're still not, very close to the top of the list, but this is going to unravel very quickly. There's also some reports in Bloomberg saying that Saudi Arabia, in particular, is looking to move their to start using the east-west gas oil pipeline that ends in the Red Sea. So here you can see, right, like the highest point was the 2008 crisis for gas prices, for oil prices, and right now we're still like a bit behind when Russia launched its special military operation in Ukraine. But as I was saying, apparently now the plan is to try to redirect as much oil as possible to the Red Sea. Now, the East-West pipeline that Saudi Arabia has can move, I think, 5 million cubic meters, or 5 million barrels. 5 million barrels of oil out to the Red Sea. Plus, the UAE apparently also has some infrastructure. They can move about 1.2 million barrels, which would offset some of the loss. But at the same time, the Strait of Hormuz, you're talking 20% of the global oil trade. So 6.2 million barrels is not really, it's not that. It's not that. It's just a portion. At the same time, this is traffic in the Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours, essentially completely halted. Guys, I mean, the price of oil, it's going to continue to rise. The Qatar energy minister was saying just a few days ago, this can reach as much as 150 in just a few days. Some others are saying it's going to go past 200. I mean, people are already calling this the biggest single disruption of oil flows in history. I mean, ever recorded.
Yeah. What is that thing you said about G7 countries?
They announced after the price hit like 120 when markets opened today. They announced that they were going to put, like, I forget the number. I will look it up for you right now. I think they said like 400 million barrels or something like that.
That's how much. That's how much Japan has in its store. Would Japan use it? I mean, are we talking about they would like sell this to keep the world economy afloat? There's no way. Japan, that's its strategic store. I don't actually get that. Sometimes I hear things from Western officials or from Western media, and I go, that's zero sense.
So the G7 has said they are ready to take the necessary measures, which include releasing part of their strategic reserves. No agreement has been reached yet. They are in talks, and the G7's combined strategic reserves total between 300 and 400 million barrels, which is equivalent to less than 2 weeks of G7 oil consumption. So, okay. Charmaine, you know how you like to say about the fingers in the holes? This is one of those.
Yeah. It's just, it's maybe that statement is what caused oil to go back under 100 today. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just statements that have no legs. There's no way. I was just reading that Japan has about 400 million barrels in a strategic store, and that would take it, supposedly can keep it for 200 days. All right. That's the country. You think they're going to give this much to an oil-starved neighbor even. No, this is when international relations gets nasty.
Yeah, completely. And I mean, the U.S. is the one that has the largest single reserve currently. If this is correct, is 415 million. But remember that between 2022 and 2025, Joe Biden was dipping into that reserve because essentially the OPEC Plus group of countries were telling him, "F off, Joe, we're not going to increase production." So the U.S. had to dip into that.
My favorite development, Karim, I don't think your mic is on, which is why we're not. I can see you trying to speak, but
it's muted. It's muted.
It's muted. Okay, so I think
okay.
Now it's fine. Yeah, but I got there first. Okay, I think my most favorite piece of news is that when Scott Bessent gave the U.S. Treasury Secretary gave a pass to India to buy Russian oil for the next 30 days because they understand India is in a bind because India is a huge recipient of energy that passes through the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, right? India, Japan, China, basically Asia, right? What did the Russians do? The Russians remembered that after Putin went to New Delhi, and met with Modi, and they had that famous car ride together, right? And were best friends forever, that India turned around and decided to basically not buy Russian oil, right? Because of Americans. And so Putin turns around and says, yeah, we'll sell you oil again, India. This just happened 2 weeks ago where India slapped the Russians in the face, right? And he's like, but at a premium. At a premium. Russia's going to do really well in this. Let's just acknowledge that, okay? Ukraine's
winning.
America wants its weapons back. Europe wants its weapons back for yet another war theater that the West has instigated. And now the Russians will be richer for it. And the Ukrainians, everything that would be going to Ukraine will be shipped to Israel. Let's be honest, not even the Persian Gulf countries. So interesting times, becomes very clear at times like this who your real friends are.
So oil today closed under 100. It closed at 94.77. That's West Texas Intermediate. And it was because of what I told you about the G7. Apparently they're holding the meeting tomorrow. Yeah.
It's a lie. But I think what the other thing that's happening in the sector is now we have 3 countries in the Persian Gulf that have declared force majeure. Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait. These guys even if they pumped or produced or refined, they have all run out of storage facilities. And so there are actually quite a few ships now acting as storage, like tankers, oil tankers, that are acting as storage facilities, just sitting, bobbing around various oceans because there's no port quite to go to.
And yesterday, Trump told them, just, be a man, cross the Strait of Hormuz. He called on the ships to just go for it.
No, wait, he was going to escort them through.
Yeah, but apparently there's no
now he's saying, be a man, do it yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Every time the man opens his mouth, lie. It's fantastic. And it's not just him. It is literally the entire Western cabal, all of them. Macron today blaming the Iranians for the aggression. I run out of words. I do. Take it away, man.
So, as far as the oil, and cut me off whenever you want, Karim, if you have anything about any thoughts about this. But what I've been thinking about is this plan for the Red Sea, right? That because Donald Trump keeps saying, I have a plan. We're going to do things to ease the heat at the same time. And I think we posted a video about this on the Cradle on our social media, which was this little line that was given to all news anchors, and they've been repeating it nonstop all day, which was short-term pain for long-term gain. This is short-term pain for long-term gain. And it's just across different news stations and everything. It's just, that's how propagandized people in the US are. in particular to the idea that Saudi and UAE could start like funneling some of their fuel to the Red Sea. There's still the hanging question of Yemen, which has already successfully closed off the Red Sea. They did it for over a year, suffering great losses, suffering a lot of very violent aggression, but that didn't really diminish their capabilities.
No, and the Americans gave up there. And here's the thing: Strait of Hormuz blocked by the Iranians, and then Red Sea blocked, Bab el Mandab blocked again by Yemen. That's it. It's game over. Go ahead and play that, Karim. Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, so that's the video that Esteban was referring to, and I will comment over this situation.
Short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term and long-term.
Short-term.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain.
Short-term is highly outweighed of the
We
long-term
get it.
benefits. Some short-term
Amazing
pain
stuff,
for the
honestly. Amazing stuff.
So
Bravo,
and
US media.
the video goes on. So first, I want to comment over this. First, we have a super chat who says, Iran should not open the strait until sanctions are fully removed. I 100% agree. The most powerful weapon that Iran has is this strait. So first, let us also read what the energy minister said in the US. He said, okay, the energy minister, Chris Wright, said that the navigation in Strait of Hormuz will resume because we destroyed Iranian capability. That's one. So I think, as Sharmeen said, the oil prices went a little bit down because of the power of the propaganda that the West possesses.
Yes.
There is no other reason. When Russia entered, in their mind, Russia is so powerful, we can't do anything, we'll see what will happen, and the energy sector spiked. I'm not talking about normal people. Even people in the administration of the United States, they don't know what's happening. Yeah, and the point when you ask an official, will the navigation resume? And for instance, he tells you that, yeah, we destroyed the Iranian Navy and they will resume. The Iranian Navy has nothing to do with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. If they remain, it will be easier. But the missiles or the strategy that Yemen did in the Red Sea, Iran will do, and it's easier for Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. That's one. The second thing is that they think that by escorting a ship, everything will be resumed. This is not the case. The case is that shipping is not only about a sailor and his cargo. There is insurance companies, there is multinational companies. Now the companies are saying that if you will gonna be hit and you cross there, we will not give you money. Tell me a single head of or COO of a company that will allow this. Who is willing to pay for the on behalf of the Americans and the Gulf countries just to make his ship pass there, and nobody will give him money? And if the ship was targeted and the oil is spilled in the Gulf, for instance, this will be a disaster for everybody. But Iran is already taking damages, and this will be a minor damage for the Persian Gulf, for the Iranians, if this happens. And maybe they will even try to do it if the Gulf is filled with petrochemicals. Who will fix it? For instance, that's one. The second thing, many intellectual in the United States that I thought they know stuff, they clearly know nothing. Many people that I follow, they are saying, yeah, wait 2 weeks, when more ship arrive, we will open the Strait of Hormuz. They have no idea what's going on there.
No.
It's insane. And
artillery fire from the shore can take out these ships. You don't need naval vessels and stuff to
no, nothing. Yani if you hit 2-3 ships a day, that's one. And usually I don't curse, but I imagine a very bad curse coming out of my mouth before the name Emmanuel Macron, because this guy is sending a ship. No. Are you better than the Americans and the Israelis, for instance? Yani, will a French ship accomplish more than the Americans? Do you have intelligence inside Iran? Have you spent 50 years spying on the Iranians? You are married to a female. Yani, what are you doing, man? So you're subjecting your country to many bad things. And I don't think after this war everybody will be safe. And for instance, if France declared war on Iran, it didn't happen. خلاص, they are far. We came back. No, I don't think this is the case. This is a different war.
That's why Iran was not going to let this just be a war against it.
Yeah.
It'll be the disappeared war that nobody saw except from here and there on its headlines, right? It made sure that everyone in the world knows that this war is going on. Every single day, every single hour, they will be aware of what's going on, and that the whole world will try to make this stop, after which the Americans will never be able to do something like this again. That it's a good plan.
I also want to clarify one thing regarding the oil and petroleum and what's happening, because people are not talking about it. I'm not an expert, but I did some research and I read many things before I start. So the point what Sharmin said previously, that for instance, let us say Japan has 80 days of petroleum. Okay? That in the market and for you, the consumer, is nothing. This means that the country, vital infrastructure and vital ports can sustain 80 days. But that doesn't mean that the oil price will remain the same. You have to think about that.
Did you just see that Bangladesh, I think it was Bangladesh, is closing schools, right? And kids are going to study remotely. Like now everyone's trying to cut transportation, like unnecessary transportation, and it hasn't even hit quite yet.
I saw that Serbia, I think, prohibited like the exports of oil also. Let me check.
Yeah, there's many things. And also I have to say more information about this. Also, Putin said that they will increase the production of oil. And I did my research according to provided numbers and to provided information about Russia. Russia can increase their oil production by 2 million barrels per day. And we know that around 20 to 22 million barrels pass through Strait of Hormuz, and around 24% of the LNG. And according to the news and what's happening, they are saying the most people that will benefit from this, or the country that will benefit from this, is India. India will receive these shipments, and then it will try to export it to other countries.
Europe. India will be. Russia said they will charge India a premium price for this.
Yeah, and India will charge Europe a premium price, or they will keep it for themselves. I don't know how they operate there, but I'm saying what's happening. Also, of course, Saudi Arabia did a very big strategic mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake if they took that decision or the Americans took it on behalf of them. They said they will increase their export from the Red Sea and other places, and that's also calmed down the oil prices. But also strategically, it's a mistake because this will make the war go longer and longer.
Let me just point out that Saudi Arabia is talking about its east-west pipeline going from the east of Saudi Arabia, where its oil resources are, across the country to the Red Sea, right? But that only allows, that pipeline can max take 5 million barrels per day. Okay, max. And it's already at full capacity. The Saudis also have to start pumping less because they have nowhere to store their oil. I mean, whichever part of the supply chain you look at, it's getting hammered right now. Listen, guys, I think before we go, I think it's also worth pointing out this news that that after I guess, some strikes on the Prince Sultan Air Base in
Yes.
Saudi Arabia, that the U.S. has evacuated or is evacuating all its,
Tankers,
the refueling planes from Saudi Arabia. And we heard some reports that were headed to Europe, but folks of the Cradle told me today that the Israeli media had said these tanker or fuel changing planes have mostly come to Israel and are in Israel.
Look at that.
Yeah, I am the one.
He's the source.
I
He's the source.
I speak to so many people,
Yeah, the Israeli media said that there are 55 planes, cargo planes, and fuel tankers are now stationed in Israel, and they said that the Germans were very kind and they helped Israel and they sent many weapons to be used in the ongoing war. So that's news came out from the Israelis. And we have also a new super chat from Xoribo. He says, or she says, in Sweden, the government told us to prepare for a 3-year war. That's exactly what I was talking about. The West doesn't know what's happening in the region, including experts. We live here, and I am listening to them, and they are completely detached of the reality.
I don't think the world can change over a 4-week war. I think some things need to sink in. People, in Europe, I know from living there for a long time, even in the US, people have talked about alternative energy, solar power, hydroelectric power. Nobody's done it. Nobody's done it the way China has. This is also an opportunity. Like, there's no reason to be dependent on hydrocarbons forever. People like in the Gulf, by the way, if this keeps going till the summer and any Iranian electrical infrastructure gets hit, let me tell you what happens if Gulf countries' infrastructure gets hit, electrical, no air conditioning. The entire country dies. I'm not kidding. Like, it's crazy. Like, we take so much in our lives for granted, right? And there's so much excess. There's so much excess. Oh, you bought this. Oh, it's not perfect. Throw it away. Get another one. There's just, I'm sorry. These are not my politics necessarily, but I'm just saying it's kind of crazy how countries have not planned, even though we know that reserves are diminishing. It's kind of, as long as there's cheap fuel, and that was Russian, okay? Russian gas was the cheap gas, and the Europeans were living like kings over this, right? Now they know the real cost of things.
I think it's almost as if the whole global economy was a house of cards built as a Ponzi scheme. And it was so quick to unravel. We have a new super chat, by the way. Maybe we can put it on screen. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, first, thank you, Schiffer Pro.
Schiffer Pro, yeah.
I love you, you read it, Charmin. She doesn't love me. You read it.
I don't know where. I don't know where.
It's on
she's
our
not
screen,
on the. She's not on the.
Charmin, I will read it.
Yeah, read it.
I love you, Charmin. My dad introduced me to you during the Lebanon War and made me read and translate your stuff to Farsi. Thank you for what you do. With hearts.
So
Thank you. Merci. خیلی متشکرم.
Look at Charmin breaking out the Farsi.
Well, I can also say, hola, gracias.
Also, there is a few important small details that happen in the region or statements that I would love our viewers to know about. First, the commander of the IRGC said that one of the goals of the new Iran, meaning after the new supreme leader was elected, he said they have 2 goals in the region. He named 2 goals: a free Palestine, a sovereign Palestine state, and also that there will be no American bases in the region. And also we have the Emir of Kuwait. The Emir of Kuwait is equivalent to the Sultan or a king, and he's the head of the state. I want to read what he's still saying till now, day 9. Our country has been subjected to a despicable attack from a neighboring Muslim country that we consider a friend. Now they consider it a friend. Yani, if you don't know what Kuwait did, just go read what Kuwait did in Syria. A friend, which resulted in deaths of innocent victims. This happened despite the fact that we did not allow the use of our territory. 3 American airplanes F-15 were shut down over Kuwait. And most of the US soldiers that are now considered that, يعني they announced them, they died inside Kuwait. And look at the audacity. Look, this happened despite the fact that we did not allow the use of our territory. Americans died, F-15s fell in our اسمه, we don't have, يعني ما خصنا. Or cost or any military activity. Some Arabs will be happy with what I said. I guess. And we repeatedly informed them of this through the diplomatic channels. يعني as if the Iranians are stupid. يعني even a small child in the world, in Nicaragua or Ecuador, Esteban, knew that 3 fighter jets fell in the territory of Kuwait, and the first 6 or 7 US Army personnel that died, they died inside Kuwait, which is insane. That's one, and also is small news. One is unfortunate. Till now, 80 children have been killed in Lebanon due to Israeli attacks. And also, the other one is the foreign minister of the greatest country in the world, Jordan. He said that the Arab states should be one, and we should be one in facing the Iranians and their retaliatory attacks. That's what I want to say.
What can you expect?
And also, according to Israeli media, sirens are in Israel. There's sirens in Israel.
There's ongoing. Guys, I think we can wrap it up for today. As usual, we have tried to cover as much as possible, but there will always be topics left. But we will see you tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who joined today. If you haven't yet hit that like button, make sure to do it, please. It really does help to get this video out to more viewers. Subscribe to our channel, please. Check out our Patreon page where you can become a direct supporter of The Cradle for as little as $5 a month. We're currently doing a Patreon drive until the end of the year. We want to reach 5,000 paying Patreon subscribers to keep The Cradle independent and as you know it, with even more content for you. Special thanks to all of our patrons. Yeah, guys, thank you to Karim, thank you to Charmaine as well, and we will see you tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you all, and thanks for our Patreons and for the super chats. And one last information that came out now from Israel.
He can't stop.
Yeah, it's too much. Itmar Gavir said that he is now arming 300,000 settlers in the mid of Israel, meaning in Jerusalem and surrounding areas. 300,000 Israelis will be given free weapons to fight and kill Palestinians.
To displace people from the West Bank.
100%. See you tomorrow.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
West Asia is always on the map, but rarely in its own voice. This region has been narrated by others for far too long. That's why The Cradle exists, to report from the region, not to speak over it.
Together, the United States
to tell stories with depth, precision, and no editorial leash. Because West Asia is more than just a theater of war. It's the corridor between continents, the energy artery of the world, the cradle of civilization. We don't take government orders. We don't serve corporate boards. We serve clarity, rarity, and rawness, no matter the risk. So if you believe this region deserves better than spin, support the people doing the legwork. Donate. Keep The Cradle independent.